Greetings from the North Woods of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. I'm Natasha, and this is Plant-Centered Living. Today, I am sitting in the kitchen of my late 1800s log cabin because I thought today we really needed to be in the kitchen for this video. This video is going to be based on a question from one of my listeners. Her name is Elena, and she's from Germany. Thank you, Elena, for your question. It came in 2 weeks ago, but I've been traveling, and so I let her know that I would do a video on this topic when I got back. So let me read to you what Elena had to say. Hey, Natasha, I like the story of those two. Those two she's referring to are Jason and Maeve. Can you maybe do an episode on good sites to find recipes or general nutrition information with regards to a vegan diet? It sounds so easy to transition out of dairy in the first week and then out of meat in the second, but I'm always wondering, what will you be transitioning to? What an excellent question. So what we need to do is start by rethinking our meals. We need to simplify things. Many of us are so used to having animal products at the center of the plate and then perhaps adding a grain and some vegetables and maybe fruit. But what we need to do is we need to focus on having what Dr. Neil Bernard calls a power plate. And I will put that graphic up at the end of this video to give you a visual. But the power plate has 4 main groups, and that's fruits, vegetables, grains, and legumes. And legumes are beans and lentils, things of that nature. So our plate needs to be based on those 4 things. We need to get rid of the notion that we should be concerned about getting the proper nutrition, whether that be protein or certain vitamins and minerals, because if we in fact have that mindset, it's going to be very difficult to enjoy preparing plant-centered meals. So throw that idea of calorie counting and nutrition information out the window. That is, if you are going to be doing a whole foods plant-centered way of eating. Now, if you're eating lots of junk food, then I would caution you that perhaps the nutrition may be lacking in the way that you're eating. Next is you need to be prepared to have plant-centered meals in your home. And that means when you go to the grocery store and you bring home all these fresh fruits and vegetables that you may or may not be used to buying, what I do is I wash them immediately. And then I cut them up, just as I would need them if I were going to put them directly into a meal. So for carrots, I may take off the top and scrub them and cut them into pieces. If it's greens, I'm going to wash them, dry them, and then chop them up. And then what I do is I either put them in Ziploc bags, I put them in Tupperware containers, glass containers, and then I put them in the fridge. Then they're ready to go, they're easily accessible, and the meal that I create can happen in a very short period of time. For those of you who eat a lot of animal products and are truly finding this transition to be a very big step, then I would recommend that perhaps you look into some transition foods. And what I mean by that is there are non-dairy cheeses out there. There are meat sources of meat, things like lunch meats, sausage links, that are all plant-centered. I would caution you, though, that many of these products do contain highly processed foods that are high in sodium and sugar and not the best for you. But with that being said, it may be useful to you to use these items until you have fully transitioned to a whole foods, plant-centered way of eating. And it's important that you don't beat yourself up because you have to use these transition foods or why can't I make the switch right away. You need to go at your own pace, and it's very important that you do this in your own time. And then I would sincerely encourage you to look up online and find recipes and find cookbooks, find sites that really resonate with you and that you find wonderful recipes on and cooking tips, because there's a lot of them out there. But for those of you who do not wish to spend all your time on the internet surfing for good recipes and you just want to know what should I cook, that's why I do my recipe each week. Those are recipes that I actually make, that my family makes. But in addition to that, I would highly recommend Forks Over Knives. I would encourage you to go to www.forksOverKnives.com. I find this to be by far the best website for everyday recipes, whether that's a main dish or a side or a dessert. It is an exceptional collection of recipes that are whole foods, plant-centered. Additionally, these recipes often can be done in very little time with ingredients that you can find at your local store, nothing strange or weird. They have an app for your phone that is incredibly helpful. It has the grocery lists. Every week you get new recipes. They're just a wealth of knowledge on forksoverknives.com. And then as far as the nutritional side of things, I would really encourage you to go to the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine website. It's pcrm.org. They have resources on their site for people who are transitioning and a lot of really great recipes as well. So those are the two that I would recommend, forksoverknives.com and pcrm.org. They will certainly get you headed in the right direction. And then from there, perhaps you'll find other sites, books, resources, movies, etc. that will help you in making the transition. And for those of you who are looking for additional resources, at www.plantcenteredliving.com, which is my website, I do have a resource list there that is printable. So I would encourage you to access that and then just start working your way down that list of resources, and it will give you a pretty comprehensive look at how you can make that transition. And again, don't feel strange about reaching out to me. Contact me. Get in touch. 906-235-5430. You can also follow me on Facebook at Plant Centered Living. But just stay in touch. It's important to me that you have the resources that you need to make the transition. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.